Good morning and welcome. It's an honor and a privilege to have you all here this morning. To the Flora Duffy's family and Flora herself. On behalf of the Board of Governors, I also wish to acknowledge a few of our distinguished guests, the Honourable Zane De Silva, our Government Minister for Social Development and Sport, Opposition and OBA Leader, Jean Atherton, Shadow Minister of Education, Mr. Cole Simons, Shadow Minister for Social Development and Sport, Ben Smith, APMP. I have just a few opening comments before proceeding with the dedication ceremony today. Those of you familiar with our campus are aware that buildings and landmarks are often named after benefactors or individuals who have given generously to our school so that we may provide the best facilities to our students. We are indeed very grateful to everyone who supports our school, whether it be through time or donations, so that each student has the best tools to learn and excel. Today, however, marks a unique opportunity in that we want to honor a former student who has reached the pinnacle of achievement in the world of triathlons because we can directly trace her beginnings back to this very location. Today we celebrate a Bermudian that inspires greatness through hard work, many sacrifices, and a passion to pursue a dream to one day stand on top of the world. Those following Flora's accomplishments will know that she's been on top of that mountain several times recently. We know the world can be fiercely competitive, so the message to all of you is that whether it's in business, sports, politics, or whatever you're calling, nothing stands in the way of sheer determination, support from family and friends, and an adventurous spirit to continuously learn and grow. These, I believe, are the ingredients that form the foundation of success, and Flora Duffy represents that no matter how young you may feel while swimming in the lanes of this pool or running the tracks of our fields behind me, everyone begins their journey somewhere. We are truly grateful that we have another champion who once studied here, who was well on her way to becoming a sporting legend.
Good morning, Flora, Dan, the Duffy family, my guests, staff, students, the class of 2004, and friends of Flora. Here we are on a most special day in our school's very long history. It's not often that we get the opportunity to dedicate a part of the school to one of our own and one who's achieved so much. I can think of no better role model than Flora to dedicate this swimming facility after. We talk about inspiration at Warwick Academy, we talk about resilience at Warwick Academy, and you are without a doubt an example of both. For our students seated here today, the reality is that Flora walked these halls, took lessons in these classrooms, swam in this pool, and ran around the fields that you play on. And I think knowing that should ignite so many possibilities for you. Flora attended Warwick Academy from 1999 until she graduated in 2004. Surprise, she was always very involved in school sports and listed badminton, volleyball, football, cross country, swimming, track and field, running and cycling as her extracurriculars. I managed to dig out from our archives Flora's Denton Hurdle nomination written by Mr. Mark Thorne, who is still teaching here today. Parts of the nomination read as follows, with most powerful at the start. It is with great pleasure that we nominate Flora Duffy for this special award. She is simply an outstanding individual. Flora has represented Bermuda in cycling, triathlons, running, swimming, competing in the May 24th cycle race. Flora won women's categories in both 2002 and 2003. In 2003, she was named Junior Triathlete of the Year. Flora won the Front Street Mile in virtually every year she ran it. In track and field, she was under 15 girls champion in 2002 and 2003, and followed that being champion in the under 16 division. As far as representing our school, badminton, volleyball and softball can be added to that list. In volleyball, Flora captained both the school and the all-star team. The nomination letter Mr. Thorne wrote continues. Flora had many other responsibilities. She plays the violin. She's been a member of the school's string and full orchestra. Dan, I presume you know this. She passed her music theory grade 4. She also participates in the Duke of Edinburgh program and recently received her Silver Award. Flora is a good student and regularly obtains second honours. She has secured an GCSE pass a year early in mathematics and is expected to receive top marks in her exams. I was fortunate to actually find those GCSE certificates, and I can tell you she did get an A in PE GCSE, surprise, surprise. Miss Adela Rubery wrote Flora's leaving reference. It includes much of what Mr. Thorne wrote, but adds, Flora is a good-humoured, focused, sensible student who is very modest about her success, well liked by her peers and teachers. In the relatively short time I've got to know Flora, and the comments I've heard from others, she is indeed modest and indeed well liked. Her brother Joel had an early memory. When Flora started at Warwick Academy for high school, I was in the sixth form, and I didn't really see her much around school. However, in primary school at Port Royal, I have a vivid memory of her at sports day when she was in primary 1. Note the long distance event was a running race for her class that was a lap around the field. It included a steep bank at the far end just before the finish line. The course was probably about 300 metres. She led the race from the start, and I remember cheering her on from the middle of the field. She was panting for breath as she whirled her tiny 5-year-old body up the embankment to the finish line. He says, it was glorious. It was the first race I saw her win, the first time I was proud of her, the first of many such occasions. Mr. Troika Studio, or affectionately known Mr. C, who coached Flora at Port Royal Primary, as well as at Warwick Academy, remembers Flora's mom, Maria, asking him if she could join his triathlon club he started at the school. She was only in P3 then, and Troy says he can still see her muscling her way to the top of the group. He narrates the first time she got on a bike, she was so tiny, she couldn't reach the pedals if she sat on the seat. So guess what? She didn't sit on the seat and continued to power on. He says she was a real fighter from early on, and we can see that that has not changed. This summer, Flora was announced as the Bermuda Tourism Authority ambassador in this partnership. The agreement positions Flora to showcase her home country as it hosts the International Triathlon Union's World Series events in 2018, 19 and 20. It builds upon Bermuda's reputation as a world-class training and events destination. The first of 3 ITU events will take place in Bermuda on the April 28th, 2018. How special will that be? To change direction slightly, and for the record today, here is Flora's considerable roll of honour, and I'm just going to focus on the last 2 years. From March to November 2016, Flora competed in the International Triathlon Union's World Series events. In Abu Dhabi, she finished 4th. In Gold Coast, 4th. In Cape Town, 3rd. Leeds, 2nd. Stockholm, 1st. Montreal, 1st. And Cozumel, for the grand final, she finished 1st, where she was crowned world champion for the first time. She was also crowned the ITU Cross Triathlon World Champion with a first in the Snowy Mountains. In the Rio Olympic Games, she finished 8th and ended 2016 as the Xterra World Champion again. From May to November 2017, in the International Triathlon Union's World Series events, she finished 1st in Yokohama, 1st in Leeds, 1st in Hamburg, 1st in Edmonton. At the Montreal World Cup, she was 2nd. In Stockholm, 1st. In Rotterdam, again, the grand final, she finished 1st, where again she was crowned world champion. Again, she ended the year at the Xterra as the Xterra World Champion. And finally, just 3 days ago, she came in 1st at the Island House Triathlon in the Bahamas. As said by Mr. Colin Smith, our board chair, after the meeting when Flora Skyped in and accepted the dedication, Flora demonstrates the epitome of hard work, dedication, and determination. She also has sheer guts. It's indeed an honour to recognise this unique and extraordinary person so that everyone who visits our school and competes in our pool can see that great sports people start somewhere, even in a small place such as Bermuda. Flora, I can think of no better role model for our students and Bermuda as a whole. Like with anything in life, there are ups and downs, and I know you've been through those. When you look back, I'm sure you reflect on them all being worthwhile, that they're only stations along the way in your journey to where you are today. I think the powerful message for all of us is to set your mind on something, be prepared to put in the hard yards, the thousands of hours of hard work. When things go wrong, pick yourself up. Keep the prize as the goal, and don't be distracted by all those things in life that may derail you. You're a true champion. Before I hand over to you to say a few words, I wanted to finish off with two things. Firstly, all the very best to you and Dan on your wedding in 3 weeks' time in Cape Town, South Africa. Let's give them a round of applause. And finally, we've been made aware that the topic of school prefectship often comes up in the Duffy household, in particular amongst your brothers. I believe they say something like, Flora, you can win as many world champions as you like, but you haven't got a prefect's badge. Well, just to make sure this friendly banter continues, we wanted to award you today with that badge. But you all note it actually says senior prefect, not just prefect. So please take good note of that. Flora, I invite you to collect this badge and to say a few words, after which we'll unveil the board on the left-hand side there, recognising the dedication of this facility after you. For all our guests, please make your way to the staff room after the event and join us for some tea and coffee. Thank you so much for listening. Over to you, Flora.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This prefect badge is actually going to go a long way. You have no idea how much it means to me, so sorry, Joel and Campbell. Finally, we can put an end to that. Well, so just after I won my first overseas triathlon, which would make me probably about 9, my parents asked me what my goals were. I said I'm going to compete in the Olympics and become a world champion. They laughed and replied, "Oh, is that all?" I said, "No, I also am going to have a swimming facility named after me. So thanks, Warwick Academy, for completing my wish list." I'm just kidding. So students, that leads neatly into achieving goals. I'm not going to go on about working hard, doing your best, listening to the right people, and ignoring the wrong ones, etc., because it's obvious. It's up to you. You know the difference between what's right and what's wrong for you. It's also up to yourself. It's also up to you to give yourself the best chance of achieving your goals. And who knows, one day you may also have a swimming facility named after you. Just not this one. My long racing season finally came to an end 3 days ago in the Bahamas. I won 9 races and was second in the other one. So things went quite well. On Wednesday, I'm off to South Africa, where in December I'll be marrying Dan, as mentioned. What a fabulous year. They say school days are the best of your life, but sorry, Mr. Horn, I'm not so sure about that. When Warwick Academy first approached me, they asked my permission to name the facility after me. They asked my permission. It's such a cool way to go about it, and I was so touched and humbled in a really weird way. So thanks, Warwick Academy, you've made me so proud. And finally, as I look around at the familiar faces, I want to take an advantage of the opportunity I rarely get. Thanks for coming today, but more than that, thanks for everything along the way. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.